Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the film Spy Intervention. And this is streaming on Amazon Prime right now, and if you have a Prime account, it's right there. But this film is directed by Drew Myria, and it's starring Drew Van Acker, Poppy Delevingne, and Blake Anderson. And this film's about a man who's a spy, and that's Van Acker, and his best friend, Blake Anderson, is also a spy. He's kind of like his handler and the man in the chair. And Van Acker's character, Corey, is on a mission, and he runs into this woman played by Poppy Delevingne, and they fall in love. He fails the mission, he leaves being a spy, and they get married, and off to having a normal life where they live in a house, and he sells boxes. Most mundane possible job. And all of a sudden, Blake Anderson's back and's like, we want you back in. One last mission. And it's the guy he couldn't get the first time. And Blake Anderson sets it up where he has to have a fake wife, and who's played by actress Natasha Bassett, and they're spying on this couple who are newlyweds, and it's this guy, and they really want to try to take him down, and of course, Corey has to try to hide this all from his wife because she didn't know that he was a spy. You've seen stuff like this before. It has that True Lies kind of feel. It has a lot of the same similar beats of like spy movies where it's like you have to hide being a spy from your family, and of course, it's like his wife starts getting encouraged by her best friend to spy on him to try to figure out what's going on. And the film it's trying to do too many things. There's a lot of characters, there's a lot of moving parts here. There's a decent amount of humor throughout. I had some fun moments. There's this ridiculous scene of at a fancy dinner and just breaking out dancing. It's so absurd and ridiculous that it got some laughs out of me. And what I like most about the film is how it's all set up. It's shot in a very grainy, kind of like old school spy kind of way. It has like the bongo drums kind of music. Roger Suins, the composer, and it's like it really captures that old school kind of spy kind of thing where like Michael Giacchino was able to do that with The Incredibles, and like Archer, like that kind of score. Obviously, I've seen espionage comedies done so well, pointing out Archer. Archer's great and really is able to capture the ridiculousness of like spy movies and stuff like this. This film's not as clever, not as smart in terms of doing that. And most of the characters aren't very likable. Blake Anderson's just kind of a jerk most of the time, but like he's still funny. He has those funny moments. He's more over the top than most of the characters. I did enjoy Poppy Delevingne quite a bit in this film as Pam, who's Corey's wife. And, you know, Drew Van Acker isn't the most charismatic, not the most interesting leading character, but he does a fine job in the film. But there's just too many hanging threads. He has his whole job at the box place and trying to connect with his fellow box salesmen, and them doing bowling and trying to balance that, and trying to balance like his wife wanting to have dinner parties, and then him trying to avoid the sexual advances of this woman who's supposed to be his fake wife. And you're balancing all these different kinds of things, and if it weren't for the zaniness and the campiness of the film, I don't know if I would have enjoyed this film as much. Because like they use models that are obviously like silly and kind of fake looking, but like they do it in a very tongue-in-cheek kind of way. It's similar to like Grand Budapest or like Life Aquatic. There's things like that. This oddly has like that Wes Anderson kind of feel to it. It doesn't have the colors, it doesn't have the symmetry, it doesn't have that much quirk to it, but there's a lot of things that are similar in terms of the models, and even some of the camera work was very reminiscent. Like, it kind of looked like it was shot in a similar way to like how like Life Aquatic has that very handheld camera, kind of like movements and zoom ins and all kinds of stuff like that in terms of the cinematography. If it didn't have that much personality that wise, I think this would just be a completely just throwaway kind of spy comedy. But it has enough for me to enjoy this film a decent amount. So it's not going to blow you away, but I think it's a fun 93 minutes to have, and it's free if you have your Amazon account, which many people do. So check out Spy Intervention. You might get a laugh out of it. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.